Well, if you were watching our 10 o'clock news last night, we were watching very closely the race for La Crosse mayor. It was a back and forth, and in the end, Mitch Reynolds has become the newly elected mayor of La Crosse, and he is joining us live this morning to talk about that win. Good morning to you, Mr. Reynolds.
Oh, good morning, Jennifer. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I need to ask you, you're watching last night, the results come in. Tell me about your evening, about how things were going, how you were feeling.
Well, it was interesting because the results didn't start coming in until, I don't know, 9-ish or something like that. I don't remember exactly, and then it felt like it was dragging a little bit, but it really only took about an hour before we had final results. And so there was a period of time though when we were separated by 50 votes, as the results were coming in, and it was just how is this going to go? So there was definitely a moment where it felt like it could have gone either way, and very close
Oh, you're cutting out just a little bit. I think let's just make sure we still have you here. Okay, we do. You find out that you're winning, and now for people who, Mitch, have not necessarily been watching the debates and hearing what your priorities are, can you talk a little bit about what you are going to do when you take office on April 20th? What are your main priorities?
Well, one of the things that we'll be doing during a transition is understanding exactly where the city is in a lot of different areas. Candidates aren't always privy to a lot of the inner workings of City Hall, and it's really only the transitional period when I'll really get a better understanding of exactly where things are. And then the meetings begin today. So at 10 o'clock is my first meeting and I'll meet with department heads throughout the next 2 weeks and get a better understanding of where exactly we are. One of the key issues that I've talked about during this campaign is really just understanding how the federal stimulus money will be impacting what we can do within the city in relation to budgeting, and also how we can do infrastructure improvements with that. But then getting on to our other priorities, including the quality and affordable housing and addressing homelessness and a lot of other issues. It's a long list, obviously.
Right, and recovering from the pandemic, not being one down below very, very much. I know that there's a lot of hurt out there, and a lot of local businesses have suffered so greatly. Do you have a plan in terms of trying to help people rejuvenate and get things back up and running?
Yeah, and again, Jennifer, this is part of that federal stimulus package that I talked about, because there is definitely some money in there for not only rental assistance and help with homelessness and to help with a lot of other issues for individuals, but there are also some small business grants that will be coming our way. Again, not knowing the scope of those, it's difficult for me to say exactly how they'll be used, but I know there's going to be assets for us to tap within the city of La Crosse, and I think that's already happening. It has already certainly happened throughout the last year, but there's more resources on the way. So I think that we're really going to benefit from what the federal government did just a few weeks ago. And I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how that's going to impact the city.
I've taken a look at your website a few times over your running to see some of your priorities. I'm glad to see that you have potholes on there as a concern for the community, because I'm guessing when you become mayor, you're going to hear about all sorts of them out there.
It is stunning to me how that is the one thing, what potholes. If we could just fix potholes, everybody in the city would be completely happy.
They would.
We would just be walking around in bliss all the time.
I'm sure you could ask, and everyone will have that one pothole that if they could fix, it would really make their life better. That's for sure.
They have names. Those potholes have names. Yeah,
how are you getting ready? I've known you for years, Mitch, and you have a history in the media, in this community, and people know you. But now this is just such a whole different role for you. How are you getting ready to shift into this now head of the city?
Well, and again, the key part that I'll be engaging in beginning today is just understanding through meetings with department heads, and these go on every single day through the next 2 weeks, meeting with department heads and meeting with others in the city and understanding exactly where we are in all aspects of city government. And I think that's going to, because I know a lot about city government and I've been around and understand in general uh, the challenges that we face, but getting a more in-depth view, I think is going to be the homework that I'm doing from here on out.
Right. What are you most excited about?
Wow, geez, that's not even a question that I've had before. I haven't even had a moment to be excited yet. I've just, I think that having talked to so many people who have asked me, "Can you help?" I'm just really excited about being able to say, "Yes, I can. Yes, I can," and looking forward to finding ways to do that. And so I guess that's it. But you're the first one who's asked that question. So
Well, there you go.
congrats.
I want my last question for you.
Yeah.
This election, I think, is one of the great ones in that it proves to people how much every vote counts. You always
Yeah.
hear that when it comes down to an election that was this close. You always have a winner and you always have a loser. And there are, 4,000 some people waking up this morning who voted for someone else. How do you now wrap your arms around those people and say, I'm the mayor for everybody?
Well, and I hope that my message comes through. And I've talked about this repeatedly. Is that I certainly have a vision for how we can make the city better. But at the end of the day, whether Vicki and I both have the same objective, and that's to make the city better, and that's to make our community better. And we were going about it in a different way. We had different philosophies, but the concept was still the same. And I try to make it very clear that regardless of how you see my view, I'm going to be the mayor for everybody. And I need to repeat that as often as I can and make sure that I'm showing that as frequently as I can, just so that that's completely understood. And some people won't see that, and that's just the reality. But I feel very positive that I will at least I will at least get that message out there, and whether that's received well or not, I guess I don't know. I don't know how that will be received, but I just do want to make certain that everybody knows that you didn't have to vote for me. And you're right, this was incredibly close election. 150 votes would have swung this thing.
Yeah.
But I am going to be the mayor for everyone in the city of La Crosse.
All right. Mayor-elect Mitch Reynolds, we thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. Congratulations, and we will look forward to seeing what you do start April 20th.
Thanks, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day.